Good evening, everyone. You welcome to the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. In our top stories, it is a Black Wednesday for the population of Equinoxe in the Nzan division of the southwest region of Cameroon as suspected armed separatists stormed the government's bilingual high school Equinoxe at about 7:50 a.m. today, shooting and killing 3 students and a female teacher. They as well wounded 2 students who are receiving treatment at the Limbe Regional Hospital. Also in this newscast, we'll talk about commercial motorbike riders in Tombel subdivision, Kope Manunguba division of the southwest region of Cameroon, who have stood up against what they qualify payments of imposed global tax by the council. According to them, the Anglophone crisis and the bad state of roads have hindered or paralyzed their sector, making it difficult for them to pay the demanded tax. Details in this report. Welcome to the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television, as we'll be developing you the headlines and also other stories in the country. We begin straight in Equinoxe, that's in the southwest region of the country, notably in the Nzan division, to say administrative and security sources have confirmed that 3 students of government's bilingual high school Equinoxe in the Nzan division of the southwest region of Cameroon have been shot dead, including a female teacher, by suspected separatist fighters early Wednesday at about 7:50 a.m. Relatives and the population in agony and with broken hearts carried the corpses from the classrooms to the mortuary. 2 wounded students are said to have been hospitalized and a teacher kidnapped. The assailants, according to some sources, were already in the school before arrival of students. They allegedly used improvised explosive devices to force open some doors of the school. However, many have described the attack as a replica or repeat of that at Mother Francisca School, Goba, last year. We caught up with the divisional officer of Equinoxe subdivision. This is what he told us regarding the incidents at government's bilingual high school Equinoxe today.
10 minutes to 8 a.m. we have had an incident at the government bilingual high school of Equinoxe subdivision. Some terrorist boys who were already ambushed in the school campus opened the fire on the first students and teachers who got to the school. After the incident, we recorded 4 death cases, among them 1 female teacher and 3 students. We also recorded 2 major injuries who have been referred to the regional hospitals of Limbe. The 4 other students injured have been taken care in a local health facility in Equinoxe. After the incident, we have deployed our security forces, defense and security forces elements to the field, and they are still working to see if they can get the authors of this barbaric act. Immediately after the incident, I made a tour to the various health facilities where the students injured and the corpses were, and I have taken some disposition. First of all, to provide the first care to the injured students, and we have also taken dispositions to transfer the corpses to the mortuary of the regional hospital of Limbe. Not more so, I have had a meeting, crisis meeting, with my defense and security staff, including the head of school institutions, especially the principal of GBHS Equinoxe. I have reassured the education stakeholders on the measure provided, which have been reinforced in the various schools so that teaching activities should not be interrupted. During the visit of the health facilities, I have already also reassured the population they should not be panicking, they should not give the go-ahead to the terrorism.
We stay in the southwest region where the population of Tiko say high taxes and poor roads or poor infrastructures have contributed to slow down developments in the said municipality. They made the remarks during a public participatory gathering organized by the Tiko Council aimed at involving the people in the development of Tiko subdivision. Delson Maimo reports.
The town of Tiko, gateway into the restive southwest region, is said to be in need of the people's collaboration to catch up with its development. This was at the center of discussions during a public participatory consultative gathering that took place at the deliberating chambers of the Tiko Council under the theme, A Budget by Us, For Us and With Us. The worries of the people range from high taxes to poor infrastructures.
If the tax is being arranged in a way that even the lowest trader can pay its taxes, it will help us a lot.
If we can have accessibility to all the government, we will be so grateful.
What is happening with Tiko that every time we take a project, we hurriedly do, and at the end of the day, it's a fiasco. Some of the roads have been made about 3 times, and which up to date is not still the best.
The mayor assured them all contributions made shall be taken into consideration during the upcoming council session for the development of the municipality.
I'm not the mayor for the office, I'm the mayor for the field. So your observations are perfect and correct. And I think in my own regime, we will try to do our best and perfect best to make sure we get the real people professional in this field.
The public participatory gathering is aimed at accelerating the decentralization process as enshrined in Section 3742 of the legislation and Section 40 of Law Number 2019/024 of the 24th of December 2019 on the General Code of Regional and Local Authorities.
In Tombel, Kupe Maninguba division of the southwest region of Cameroon, still commercial motorbike riders in their numbers have kicked against what they qualify imposed global taxes by the council. According to them, the Anglophone crisis and poor roads have made it difficult to paralyze their sector, making it difficult for them to pay the demanded tax. For me, Armstrong Sander has more.
Angry bike riders in front of the Tombel Council chambers in the Kupe Maninguba division, southwest region of Cameroon. They are protesting against a 5,000 francs global tax payment imposed on each bike rider by the Tombel Council.
Any provision they will cancel the for riders? No. Are we convenient in paying this tax? No. We cannot pay tax when we are not convenient.
Not convenient because their sector, according to them, has practically been abandoned by the council. Besides the challenges of their sector, the riders say their activity, like any other economic activity in the conflict-hit region, has been paralyzed by the Anglophone crisis. Despite their claims, the divisional officer for Tombel says their resistance to the decision of the council is a threat to public peace. Niam Leonard, who also descended to the scene, had to mediate for both parties.
We agreed that the last semester, which is they are supposed to pay 5,000 francs, is just what they are going to pay. And we have accepted that this money will be collected as from the 10th of December. All of us agreed on that, and I think that everyone is okay and satisfied, and taxi riders have gone back to work, and then everything is going to move on.
The outcome is still being contested by some bike riders who think the council should let go 2021 and begin global tax collection only by 2022.
A suspected criminal known to have been giving the population of Fumbo sleepless nights has been arrested by gendarmes. He was presented to the public, as Charles Equinoxe tells us.
Elements of the Gendarmerie Brigade in Fumbot, in the west region of Cameroon, have gotten hold of a suspected burglar who is said to have apparently broken into this economic operator's house by the name of Rahul Munich. He broke into my house when I got to the Fumbot Central Prison. I saw him locked up there, and he still confessed to me that he stole my clothes, most precisely an Adidas cap. The suspected burglar was later identified with the Adidas cap on the streets, which led to his demise. I was in town on a Wednesday to buy some groceries. While explaining to a friend of mine that I was robbed, suddenly I saw someone on the other side of the road wearing an Adidas cap which looked just like mine. He was also wearing a face mask. So I got closer to him and I realized it was someone I knew who was wearing my cap. I immediately jumped on him and pinned him to the ground.
Jusqu'à ce qu'il est arrivé à quelques mètres de moi, j'ai donc bondi sur lui. C'est comme ça que je l'ai maîtrisé.
This escapee from prison was later picked up by elements of the Gendarmerie Brigade in Fumbot. He was caught in possession of an identity card bearing some other person's name. Moreover, according to corroborating sources and reports, he used to impersonate the wanted separatist fighter General Lopiti while carrying out his operations. He impersonated one of General Lopiti's lieutenants. This caused panic in Fumbot as so many inhabitants feared for their lives. The suspected burglar is currently in the dragnets of the Gendarmerie Brigade in Fumbot and will soon be facing the law in the days ahead.
And in sports, the Confederation of African Football CAF has warned Cameroon about its laxity towards the African Nations Cup to be played in January 2022. The Secretary General of the Confederation of African Football says if the local organizing committee does not sit up the Olembe Stadium to host the opening encounter of the tournament, will be switched to another. Details with Smanjukan Gabriel.
In a 3-page document that was forwarded to the president of the local organizing committee for the African Nations Cup, who doubles as the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Chief Professor Narcisse Mwelekombi, the Secretary General of the Confederation of African Football CAF, Veron Mosongo Ongba, urged the president of the local organizing committee to urgently respond to the preoccupation of CAF in relation to the organization of the tournament next year. The first preoccupation of CAF is the Olembe Playground that will host the opening ceremony, which, according to Veron Mosongo Ongba, work outside the pitch is still to be completed after the last visit, which dated 16th November 2021. To solve this issue, CAF is asking Cameroon to share with them the plans of the company working at the Olembe Stadium on how they intend to finish the work, giving them a deadline of December 10, 2021. Again, CAF raised the problem of the training pitch at Bangu in the West region, which according to them was impracticable and can't even be used for training since work is incomplete. CAF says they will be sending a professional team that will do the necessary work on the field. Owing to the current health situation in the world, with COVID still a reality, CAF says the government of Cameroon hasn't given them any information on how they intend to manage the spectators wishing to be part of the soccer jamboree. Without the information, CAF says they too can't work. Because of the absence of the information, CAF says the sale of tickets for the competition slated for the 1st of December 2021 will be suspended. About the follow-up expected to be done on the different pitches, CAF is angry with Cameroon because they have vehemently refused to follow the recommendations given to them by CAF's experts after their visit to the pitches from the 3rd to the 15th of October 2021. Veron Mosongo Omba says, till date, CAF hasn't received a response concerning the lights they asked to be installed in the different playgrounds. This system is supposed to be validated by CAF 3 months before the tournament. Finally, CAF is also surprised because till date, Cameroon hasn't shown how these pitches will be managed during the competition. This is so because, according to Veron Musongo Ongba, since the 20th of November 2021, the local organizing committee was supposed to have forwarded to them documents justifying the presence of workers at the different stadia for its management. CAF has given Cameroon until the 25th of November 2021 for them to send the names and contacts of the different commission. The Confederation of African Football is now warning Cameroon that if the 6 needs are not met before November 30, 2021, CAF will change the venue for the opening ceremony of the Nations Cup, which has been fixed for January 9, 2021 at the Olympic Sports Complex.
Up next is Talking Points. Discover our guest in a jiffy. Good evening once again. You're welcome to Talking Points. We having as guest Dr. Simon Monzo. He is a member, a member of the coalition of the Cameroon Federalist groups and activists who are striving to restore federalism in Cameroon. Good evening, Dr. Simon Monzo, and welcome.
Good evening, thank you, and my best regards to your viewers.
Well, you were meeting to discuss issues on how federalism could be restored in Cameroon. Tell us why this new initiative, whereas others existed that you could simply join?
Well, I mean, we are aware that there are many people who want our country to return to federalism. And, but as you can tell yourself, they are all acting in dispersed ranks. So from that point of view, this is not really a new initiative because this initiative is intended simply to provide a platform for collaboration amongst all the various groups and individuals who are in favor of federalism.
Yeah. Is it just because he's striving to restore federalism in the country? What makes a difference with other peace initiatives put in place?
No, the other peace initiatives, if you like, if you are referring, for example, to the activities of the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations, or if you are thinking about what a number of church leaders are trying to do in Cameroon. Yeah, those, as you say, are peace initiatives intended to bring the warring factions, the government on the one hand and the separatists on the other, to drop their guns. So it's a different set of preoccupation. After the guns have been dropped, then what? When the guns are dropped, we have to now sit around a table and through dialogue and negotiation, decide how to end the crisis permanently, and that can only come through ending the root causes of the crisis, which we all know lie in the fact that for the past 60 years, a program has been implemented for the domination and assimilation of the English-speaking Cameroonians in Cameroon. That's the root cause of the problem. So peace negotiations that are intended to bring both the government forces and the separatist forces to drop their arms and go to the table will only be the beginning of efforts to solve the root cause of the problem. And that is where discussions like what form of the states would be adequate to solve that problem come in. And we are saying that the most adequate form of the state to solve the problem would be federalism.
Federalism that has been kicked aside by the government that says the state of Cameroon is non-negotiable. What mechanism are you going to use to ensure that you sit on a dialogue table with federalism that is much hated by the government of Cameroon?
Yeah, the government of Cameroon, as you say, may hate federalism precisely because federalism would put an end to the program of assimilation which this government has been pursuing. Okay, but otherwise, in principle, this government knows that federalism is a form of government that is meant to resolve issues in a country that has diversities and tensions. That is why our country started as a federal republic. But over the last 40 years especially, successfully under Presidents Ahidjo and Biya, the regime in Yaoundé has acted on the basis that it is all right, it is acceptable for the former West Cameroon or the former Southern Cameroons to be obliterated, to be assimilated, for its own heritage to disappear. So it is not surprising that the government sees a push for restoration of federalism as something that they don't accept because it represents an attempt to stop the program of assimilation. However, we cannot work on the basis that once the government has spoken, that's the end of the matter. There is a government, but there is also a people. And our constitution, under which this government works, understands that, or states, not only understands, but states that sovereignty lies with the people. So we are going to take this message to the sovereign people of Cameroon, especially those of the northwest and southwest regions who have been suffering the effects of assimilation over these past 60 years or so. And everything will depend upon how willing the people are prepared to organize themselves in order to fight for their right. Not by violence, but just by sheer show of their will. You know, so we are not leaders. We are not here to lead anybody. We are advocates. We are activists. We are advocating federalism. And that involves going towards the population to explain the usefulness of federalism, to explain how federalism is the best in the circumstances. And as you know, we started only with the launching of the platform last Saturday. That's only about 3 days ago. And I'm happy that there's been so much enthusiasm expressed both in and out of Cameroon for this initiative in just the past 72 hours. You know, so our hope lies in the response of the population. As time goes by and people understand better what this is all about, I can assure you the population will rally behind this call, and the population will be the one to deal with the government, which is bound finally to listen to the voice of the people.
Not afraid that this initiative or this move is coming too late when many minds are already overcrowded with separation?
No, we cannot say that. First of all, we can't say that it's coming too late. You know that the idea of federalism has been part of the history of our country, the soul of our country, the essence of our country, since reunification on the 1st of October 1961. So federalism has never gone away. What happened is that under a system of governance that went first from a one-party state and then to a multi-party state, which is still run like a one-party state when using the elements of state repression and so on. People lost their ability to speak up for their rights. But increasingly, people are overcoming their fear of repression, fear of being thrown into prison, fear of this and fear of that. So we are coming out of that because Cameroonian people are feeling more and more that they do in fact have to overcome that fear in order to come out and assert their rights. So this is the right moment for it. This is the right time for it. I cannot say that it is too late. As for the idea that most people are for separation, we have said over and over again that, of course, yes, if you put the matter simply in terms of, do you want to stay with Francophone Cameroon or do you want to go? People will say, well, we want to go. But we also keep saying that nobody is going to give us that opportunity. It's not going to be as simple as that. You know, that is why separation can come only by war. And we have seen how war of just about 5 years, how much damage it is doing to our country.
Thank you so much.
So how many more years of war do we want?
Thank you so very much, Doctor. I recall that you are an advocate of of course, one of the those who are actually advocating for return of federalism in Cameroon, and you are part of the coalition of Cameroon federalist groups and activists. Thanks so much for being part of this edition of the newscast.
Thank you for inviting me, and we will continue to discuss and to educate our people on this initiative. Thank you.
And to you viewers, thanks so much for being part of this newscast. Do have a splendid evening.